This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. In last session, we mapped one accounting entry, right, for check incoming. Is this accounting entry clear how we mapped in system? Like, in short, how we have to map this in system? You have to map along with your account number or account symbol or account name. What are we supposed to use?
Bank symbol.
You'll have to use this with account symbol,
Symbol.
right? In the similar way, we have to map all the accounting entries, like whatever the others we have. In the similar fashion, we have to map. Now let's see one more thing how we have to map it. If I take this second accounting entry, if we take this one, check outgoing account. Let's say this is the accounting entry. How are we going to map this accounting entry? Are we going to map the entry as it is, or with the help of GL account numbers, or with the help of account symbols? How we have to map
Account
it?
symbols. Account
With account
symbols.
symbol, right? So you have to debit outgoing account and credit main account. What kind of entry is this? Is this a direct entry or is this a clearing entry?
Clearing entry.
It is a clearing entry. For clearing entry, do we maintain both posting keys or only one posting key?
Only one posting key.
For clearing entry, you are going to maintain only one posting key. That posting key is for main account or for sub account.
Sub account. For sub accounts,
Where
we
do
don't
you,
maintain it.
for sub account, we do not maintain posting key. For main account, you will maintain posting key. Now, if I go to SAP, second step, and in this chart of account, if you go to the defined posting rule, you have to add a new entry. Always remember, first you are trying to pass the accounting entry, which account to be debited, which account to be credited. If we were to map this, you have to put check outgoing. For check outgoing, we have already created one account symbol. This is your check outgoing. So your accounting entry will be like this. I didn't copy. Checkout. Check outgoing account, and the other account will be main account. So which one will be debit, which one will be credit? Is this entry correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? This is what you are going to use. So which one will be on the debit side? Check outgoing will be on the debit side. Copy this. On your accounting entry, you are going to maintain check outgoing as the account symbol on the debit side section. For the credit section, you are going to put main account.
50.
Correct? First, you are not supposed to put posting key 40 or 50. First, you try to put your accounting entry, which account to be debited, which account to be credited. Then we will decide whether this is a direct entry or it is a clearing entry. If this is a direct entry, you have to straight away put debit posting key 40, credit posting key 50. If this is a clearing entry, you have to see where is your main account, where is your sub account. Where is your main account? Is this on the debit side or on the credit side?
Credit side.
The posting key should be updated on the credit side. For main account, what should I put here? 40 or
50.
50?
50.
We'll have to put 50. For debit, should I mention 40 or I should leave it blank?
You should leave it blank.
We have to leave this blank. Fine. When you are leaving this blank on the debit side, your posting type will be clear debit. Correct? It should be for clear debit GL account. Is this right?
Okay.
Because you are leaving posting key blank on the debit side, you want system to clear this debit account. So I will be selecting this clear debit GL. You will create one new document type for BRS purpose that you will assign here. Currently we are not doing this. Next one, posting rule you have to create. We have already created posting rule. This entry that we are posting is against
ABR2.
this ABR2. Majoritarily, all our entries are bank accounting entries. So in most of the cases, we will be going ahead with bank accounting. Okay. After this, if you press enter, you will come to know if there are any messages, error messages. Let me press enter. Are we receiving any error messages?
No, sir.
No, right? Now, if we try to save it, this will get created. In the similar way, we have to update all the accounting entries in the system. This is straight away dependent on your business accounting entries provided by the client. You should have
Yes, sir.
predefined mapping file with you. Only then you can complete this configuration. Assuming we have completed all these accounting entries. Okay. Assuming we have completed all this accounting entries mapping, the first one. Next, what we have to do after this is you have one more setting. If I go back, now you have to define the first setting now. Create and assign business transactions. If you open this, you will find the business transactions here. Before we define this, you have to understand few things. This point. Now, under this, you have internal transaction types. You have external transaction types. Which transaction type is used for manual BRS? Which transaction type
Internal.
is used for electronic BRS?
Internal for manual, external for EB, electronic BRS.
Yes. So this is used for MBRS. This is used for EBRS. MBRS. So our own types. When we say our own types, anything you can create, any 4-digit character you can create for your internal transaction type. For electronic BRS, bank provided types. So your bank will provide you the list, the same types you will have to create as external transaction type. Clear? Now each transaction type refers to an accounting entry. We have already created some transaction types, right? So what are our accounting entries? These are our accounting entries. We have 6. How many entries we have?
6.
I'll
6.
copy these 6. I'll put them here. Now this internal transaction type you have to create here. Let me open this. Here we need to add a new entry. When you add a new entry, there is no F4 help here. which means this is not an existing one which we have already created. It's a new one that you are going to create here. Option number 1, you can create same like this. Option number 2, you can create a new one of your own. Okay, option number 1, you can create same like this. Option number 2, you can create a new one of your choice. Now, before you create this, there are certain things that you'll have to understand. Before we create, let's try to understand BRS, basic accounting logic. BRS, basic accounting logic. First thing that we'll have to remember is in BRS, there is no debit and credit concept. In BRS, we do not have debit and credit concept. So in BRS, we use add and deduct concept. Which concept? Additions and deductions. In short, add and deduct. Clear?
Add and add and deduction.
So if you recollect the BRS that you have done in your academics, it is the similar way. We'll say bank opening balance, let's say 1000. You will have add, let's say some 400, and deduct some 200, and you will find bank closing balance. What will be the closing balance? 1200. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Is this what we do when we prepare a BRS or bank reconciliation statement, or you put a debit credit? Do we put debit credit on your BRS?
No.
You're not going to mention debit credit on your BRS. So in short, your BRS is completely based on additions and deductions. Now, addition is represented by plus symbol, and deduction is represented. Go on mute if you're not talking. Deduction is represented by minus symbol. Okay. Now this addition and deduction symbols are very important. If you're adding, you have to use plus icon. If you're deducting, you have to use minus icon. Straightforward, basic logic. Clear? Now, these additions and deductions are applied based on the impact of bank main account. Based on what? Bank main account. So you are going to see the impact on your main account. If your main account balance is going to increase, you are going to add plus. If your main account balance is going to decrease, you are going to add minus. Am I clear? If a transaction is going to increase the bank balance, in short, main, we will use plus. If a transaction is going to decrease the bank balance, we will use minus. Clear? Are these two lines clear? When you have to use plus, when you have to use minus. Any doubt in this? Yes, no?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, considering this, your check incoming, is this going to increase your bank balance or decrease your bank balance?
Increase.
This will increase your bank balance. Your check outgoing,
Decrease.
Will
it
decrease.
will decrease your bank balance. Transfer incoming,
Transfer incoming. Increase, sir.
this will increase your bank balance. Transfer outgoing,
Decrease.
Will decrease.
it will decrease. Your expenses,
Decrease.
Expenses will decrease. Income will increase.
Income is
income will increase. Clear? This is something that should
Yes.
be there in your mind all the times. Okay. So in your interview, your interviewer might ask, how do you decide whether a transaction is being debited or credited? We are not going to go by the transaction called a debit or credit. We are not going to go by the concept. We are not going to go by the logic called debit credit in BRS. Why we will not use debit credit? We will not use debit and credit concept in BRS as these debit and credit are oppositely used in both accounting and banking. Am I correct? In your banking, in your accounting, the usage of debit and credit is ulta, reverse. Okay, so in accounting, and in banking, let me put transaction. Any amount deposit. In your accounting, we are going to debit this. Yes, no? Debit what comes in? So if you receive any amount, you are going to debit your account or credit your account according to your accounting.
Debit, sir.
You are going to debit it. But when some amount is deposited in your bank account, from bank, when you receive a message, your bank message will tell you your account has been credited or debited for a deposit.
Credited. Credited.
Credited.
Credited. Simple example is your salary. Whenever you receive salary, you will receive a message stating your account has been credited with XYZ amount, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
any amount issued. If you issue any amount, in accounting, what we will do? Issue means you are withdrawing or you are reducing the amount. You will do a credit what goes out, and in your
Yes,
banking,
debit.
this will be a debit. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt in this? Now, if somebody is asking you in your interview why we will not use debit and credit in BRS, you must be in a position to answer this. You are not going to use debit credit concept in BRS because of this reason. It's a controversial thing. When I say debit, my debit has two meanings. Debit has a different meaning in accounting, debit has a different meaning in banking. They are always opposite or ulta. That is why when you map your BRS in SAP, you're not going by debit credit. Instead, you are going by plus minus, in short, addition, deduction, or increase, decrease. Clear? Now, when you map this, you'll have to create some transaction types. When you're creating transaction types, you can create, let's say, same as it is, for example, or you can create your own 4-digit transaction type. Let's say we are going ahead with the same 6 transaction types. According to them, if I come to this, I am going to use for check incoming same ABR1. This ABR1 is check incoming. Let me put all this once and all the descriptions here. Clear? Now, first one is check incoming. Your check incoming is going to increase your bank balance or decrease your bank balance.
Increase bank balance.
This is your increase the bank balance. If your bank balance is increased, should we use plus or minus?
Plus.
You have to use plus. So here I need to put plus because this is increasing my bank balance, positive value. Similarly, your check outgoing. What is this doing?
Minus.
Decreasing bank
Decreasing
balance.
the bank.
This will decrease your bank balance. So you are going to put minus or a negative value. Transfer incoming.
Plus.
Increase.
This is a plus.
Positive.
Correct. Transfer outgoing.
Minus.
Plus.
It's a minus. This will decrease your bank balance. So it is a negative number. Expenses.
Minus.
Negative.
Negative. Because expense also reduces your bank balance. Income.
Plus.
Plus.
Positive.
Plus. Now clear with this internal transaction type and then plus minus symbol. Clear? For each accounting entry, you have to design or you have to put your own 4-digit code. For now, we have used the same. For this, you have to design or you have to map one accounting entry. For check incoming, we have already created one posting rule. You have an option called posting rule here. If you open the drop down, you will get the posting rules that are created. If you see, this is what we have created. Right, ABR1, you will find ABR1 bank check incoming, right? For ABR2 bank check outgoing, you have defined bank check outgoing ABR2. So according to this logic, we have used the same transaction, same posting rule, correct? ABR3, so ABR4 will be ABR4, this will be 5, this will be 6. Any doubt so far?
No, sir.
Any doubt on the 4 fields that we have filled? Clear, right? First one and the last one is your manual input. The second field, which is your plus minus, is based on your understanding. You have to understand what you are going to create and how this is going to affect your bank balance. If this is going to increase, put plus. If this is going to decrease, put minus. Do not think debit, credit accounting entries at this stage. Next one, you would have already created accounting entries in the form of posting rules. For everything, put the appropriate posting rule that you have created. Next one, out of these six, how many clearing entries we have? How many direct entries we have? Out of six, how many clearing entries? How many direct entries?
Direct entries to
First four are
clear.
clearing.
4 are clearing and 2 are direct.
First four are clearing entries, last two are direct entries.
Direct
Is that
entries.
correct?
Yes.
Now, there is something called interpretation algorithm. When we talk about interpretation algorithm, you have to tell the system how system has to clear the transaction. When it is a clearing entry, your clearing is based on a key field. When I say clearing is based on a key field, it is like this. If you go to any screen like this, and if I click on choose open item, clearing is based on like this. Your clearing is supposed to be one of the criteria, either based on amount, based on document number, posting date, reference, payment order, assignment, others, billing document. Like this, there should be a key field. There should be a key field to identify the open item. Okay, clear? Whenever you are talking about a clearing entry, you need a key field to identify the open item. This key field identification is used or is determined based on the interpretation algorithm. If we go back to the system, for your direct entries, do we need system to identify any existing open item, or debit credit is a fresh entry during BRS? For direct entry, is debit credit direct entry during BRS, or we want system to clear any of the existing open item?
Fresh entries during
Debit, credit,
BRS.
debit and credit, I guess.
Right? For your direct entries, debit and credit is a fresh entry during BRS, because there is no initial entry, there is nothing to be cleared. That is why it's a direct entry. For direct entries, if you open the interpretation algorithm, you will select no interpretation. What you are going to select?
Interpretation.
No interpretation, because you have clearly told the system what to debit, what to credit. You did not mention system to clear debit entry or to clear credit entry. Correct? Direct entry means you are telling system what to debit, you are telling system what to credit. So blindly you want system to record the same entry. For such entries, it is no interpretation algorithm. Select this 0, select 0 here also. But when it comes to check incoming, check outgoing, transfer incoming, transfer outgoing, it is not a direct entry. It is not a direct entry. It is what entry? It is your clearing entry. Any clearing entry is to be identified based on a key field. Any clearing entry is identified based on a key field. Your key fields for clearing entry identification are either assignment or reference. What are the two fields for clearing entry identification in BRS? Option number 1,
Assignment
you
and
will go by
reference.
assignment. Option number 2, you will go by reference. Now, how you are going to decide whether to go by assignment or to go by reference? Most common approach is assignment is used for checks, reference is used for transfers. Clear? Assignment is used for checks, reference is used for transfers. Clear?
Yes.
Now here in the interpretation for the check related transactions, which algorithm we have to use?
Checks. Assignment.
Assignment. Do you find anything related to assignment?
The clearing transaction using assignment is there. 015.
015. So this number is what they will expect you to tell in your interview. So which interpretation algorithm do we use for clearing check transactions? You'll have to tell interpretation algorithm is 15, which will pick the open item based on the assignment field. Double click on this. Same is for your check outgoing. What about for transfer?
Reference 19.
For transfers, we will be using reference, which is your 19. Clear? Let's use 019 for reference. Like this, you'll have to create and then you have to save it. Okay, this is what you have to do. Since we have used 0, it will be removed, but it is still okay. Okay, 0 system will not show, but that is fine. You don't have to worry about it. Clear on this screen? So here it's a key field, your internal transaction type and your plus minus symbol, which means whenever you put this, system will accept only a positive number. Whenever you put this, system will accept only a negative number. In short, system is going to add, deduct this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And after doing this setting, the last step would be define variant for manual bank statement. Now, this is something which is a little important, not very important. It's a one-time setting. What you are going to do, manual BRS is processed using FF67 T code. What is the T code?
FF67.
FF67. Let me open this FF67. If you open FF67, you will get a screen like this. On this screen, it is asking for sort variant. Now, if you open the sort variant, this is a one-time setting that you'll have to define. Whenever you open the screen for the first time with your user ID, this will come. From the second time onwards, this will not come. You have to manually come to this screen if you wanted to make any changes. Here on the sort variant or on the start variant, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 options. BMBR, BNY1, SBI1B, SIP01. The same variants you will find on your configuration screen. Clear? Do you find the same things?
Yes, sir.
These 4 is what you're seeing here. For your company code, it is always recommended you create a new variant. To create a new variant, you are not going to add a new one. Instead, you are going to copy this standard variant and make it as your own customized one. Standard variant is always SAP01. You click on SAP01. Top, you will find copy option. Click on copy. From SAP01, you are going to put a new one as ZBRS. Okay, I'm keeping this as ZBRS. Okay. Okay. Now this is how you will get this. Now the field selection is what you have to define here. What I am going to do, I am going to use transaction, I am going to use value date, I am going to use amount. I am not going to use document number. So whatever you do not want, if you want to delete, click this and then you will find delete field. Customer match code we do not want, delete this. Foreign currency you do not want, delete this. Foreign currency amount you do not want, delete this. The most important field on your BRS is bank reference. If you double click on this, so what it is giving, bank reference,
That should be 12, 12, no, 19 years. 11 or 12.
so what I'll do, I'll put standard offsetting plus length. The maximum length of 15 must not be exceeded.
Amount you should give 10 or 10 digits. Length field
So
should be 10.
3 plus 4 is 7, 8. 8 plus 10 is your 18. So this is your 19. So length cannot be 31 digits. Length is 15 digits. Loading. Okay, basically what you have to see here is the maximum length should not exceed 99 characters on this screen. What is the maximum length? 99 is the maximum length. The logic is, this is your first column, this is your offset account, this is your length. So by default, system will give you the number for the first one. From this, you have to start counting this. From this, you have to start counting this. 3 plus 4 is 7. The next digit will be 8. So eighth column is this, and for eighth one, the length is 10 characters. So 8 plus 10 is 18, and then the next one would be 19. For 19, you are using length as 15. So 19 plus 15 will give you the next number. If you are confused, you can simply click on this standard offset plus length. You can click on standard offset plus length, or if you want only the standard offsetting, it will give you these codes. Length you can manually override. It's still loading. Let me try to log in again. Bank reference 13. Now see, it has come. Okay, we need a transaction, value date, amount, bank reference. We will also need cost center. You will also need profit center. Profit center. Clear? We are going ahead with these alone at the beginning. Any doubt on this field addition? Okay, in short, this is the field list that you are going to feed at the time of a BRS screen, which we will see. On your BRS screen, system will display only these fields: transaction, value date, amount, bank reference, cost center, profit center. If you want text, you can give text also. Let's say I'll take some 15 characters. Okay, so maximum line width, it has become 80. So you cannot use beyond 90 or beyond 99 on this. Once these are given, first save this. So create a request. Okay, now you have to activate this. You'll have to select this. If you see there is no activate tick mark, click on your variant. Top you will find this activate button. Click on this activate. When you click on this activate, you have to save it. And once this is saved, when you're on your BRS screen, what is the T code for manual BRS?
FF17.
FF6.
FF67. On FF67, you have to always take this international bank determination. If you tick this, it will ask you to input data like this, house bank account ID. If you do not tick this, it will ask you to put bank key and account number. So practically not possible to fill in bank account number, bank key. Instead, we will always prefer international bank determination so that it will consider house bank and account ID. And then import advices, start variant, whatever we have created now, ZBRS. Customer match code is D, vendor match code is K, which means the customer account type, vendor account type. Processing type, this we will always select first one, processing as batch input generate online. This one you are going to use it. And then continue. Okay, this is how you are going to put your this one, start variant and all. In case if you want to change any criteria, you have to go to settings on the menu. From the settings, if you click on specification, you will get this pop-up again. Okay, for the first time when you are opening this screen, the pop-up comes automatically. From second time onwards, if I go back and open FF67, we will not get this pop-up again because those settings are already filled up. If you want to change, from settings, you have to change specifications. Okay, close this. Here, what we are normally going to do is you need to have some test scenario or some sample data. How you are going to take the sample data? Let me put this one. Bank opening balance. Let's say some 56,000. Check deposited 8,000. Check issued 13,000. Transfer received 26,000. Transfer made 14,000. Bank charges 1,200. Bank interest received 2,100. Assuming these are the transactions. Considering these transactions, what will be our bank closing balance? Now, before we arrive at bank closing balance, you have to arrange each transaction value according to increase decrease concept or according to add deduct concept. Which one should be positive number, which one should be a negative number according to increase decrease or add deduct logic.
Check deposited will be increased.
Check
Plus
deposit, this will increase. So any increase is a plus. Check issue,
decrease
Minus.
minus.
Decrease.
this will decrease. This is a minus. Transfer received,
Increase.
Increase.
this is an increase. Transfer made,
Transfer may
Decrease.
decrease.
this is a decrease.
Bank charges decrease.
Bank charges is a decrease.
Decrease.
Bank income,
Increase.
Increase.
increase. Okay, so increase will be a positive number, decrease will be a negative number. Increase is a positive number, decrease is a negative number, decrease is a negative number, increase is a positive number. Now I can simply do a calculation. According to this, this is your opening balance, this is your closing balance. Is this correct? Agree? Is the calculation correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, considering this, you will have to know number of transactions. What is the number of transactions that we have? Number of transactions is always number of line items in the statement. In this statement, how many line items we have? So to consider the line items, you have to ignore opening balance, you have to ignore closing balance. If you ignore opening and closing, how many line items are left?
6.
6, right? In this, we have 6 line items. Like this, there may be n number of line items. There may be 100 line items, 200 line items, 1000 line items also, depending on the interval that you are picking the statement. If I take 1 day statement, I may get less number. If I take 1 week statement, 2 weeks statement, or 1 month statement, number of transactions may be more. Right? Now, in MBRS, so we will input only opening and closing balance values in SAP. What we are going to input?
Opening and closing
Opening and
balance.
closing balance. Based on opening and closing balances, SAP will determine the transaction value. What it will determine?
Transaction value.
So transaction value is equal to opening balance minus closing balance. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now in this case, this is your opening balance and this is your closing balance. Okay, now the difference between opening and closing is what? 7,900. Correct? Difference between opening and closing is what? 7,900. Now this 7,900 is what you have the breakup as your bank statement. Now for all these transactions, there has to be accounting entries posted. Now let me put the same numbers on the system. For the first time when you are creating, what you can do is simply you go to overview. Do not feed anything manually here. Straight away click on overview. It will display all the bank accounts. Select your bank account. Okay. Currently we have not defined it. Once we define, you will see your company code, your bank account, bank key, account number, account currency. Let's say this is yours. Double click on your bank account. Click on new statement. On this new statement, you have to give your opening balance. This is your opening balance, and you have to give your closing balance. Clear? Beginning balance, closing balance. Clear? And you have to give statement number, statement date, posting date. If you do not fill posting date, system will take statement date as your posting date. So ignore all other fields. You focus only on opening balance, closing balance. Difference between opening and closing, when you calculate it, we got 7,900. Now the moment we press enter on the keyboard, ignore that message. Now you got 7,900. Correct? Now for this 7,900, you have to fill up the details. Okay. So this is the positive 7,900, because from opening to closing, you have an incremental balance. Your closing balance has increased. So there is a positive impact of your transaction. For this 7,900, you have to put all these transactions. Now these transactions, if you see, you are able to see the bank statement items in a specific format: transaction, value date, amount, bank reference, cost center, profit center. This is something that we have defined as a variant here. In this variant, whatever we have added, same fields are reflecting here. Transaction is nothing but, if the first one is check deposit, you have created a transaction which is your internal transaction for check deposit, bank check incoming. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
So you have to pick bank check incoming, value date, in short, check clearing date, amount 8,000. I have to put 8,000 positive number. If I put 8,000 negative number, let's see what will happen. What it is telling?
There are no transactions that have this amounts plus or minus sign.
During the configuration, we have assigned in the system this ABR1 is a positive. Plus minus, you have put plus. According to that setting, it is determining only a plus symbol. If I show you this, it is here. Here you have put which number? Only positive values are allowed, because check deposit, check incoming is going to increase your bank balance. Whenever you select this transaction ABR1, it has to be strictly a positive number. If I remove 8,000 negative, if I put only 8,000 positive, it will accept. And bank reference, here is where you have to put check number. Let's say some number like this. Bank reference, what you are going to put? If it is a check payment, check number. If it is a bank transfer, you are going to put transfer reference number. Am I clear? We have already written somewhere. For check, assignment field is used. For reference, which field is used? Bank transfers, we are going to use reference. For check payments, assignment field. Now, check number and transfer number must be filled in bank reference column. Where we have to fill check number and transfer number, you have to fill up in bank reference column. When you fill up in the bank reference column, based on this bank reference column, system is going to identify either the assignment field of the document or the reference field of the document, depending on your interpretation algorithm, 15 or 19. If you put 15, it will pick your check number from the assignment. If you put 19, it will pick reference from the document, your transfer reference number. Clear? Like this, you have to fill up all this information. Like this, you have to fill up all this information until you reach the same figure. Let's say, let me fill up all this. Same date. Amount from this. Copy, paste here. 2000, 14,000, 1200, 2100. Some any number I am giving. Now, once you put everything, you have to make sure the amount that you have assigned here, the amount that you have entered here must be same. Are these two numbers the same or there is any difference? Sometimes we may get confused. You may get 7,900 positive here, 7,900 negative here. That is wrong. It has to be the exact figure. Negative, negative both sides, positive, positive both the sides. Clear? Okay. Once you fill up everything, you have to save this statement. First save will save the statement. Once you save it for the first time, you have to save it again for the second time. Second time saving will post the statement. If I click on the save, now from our statement, how many open items we have? 4 open items and 2 direct postings. Am I correct?
Yes,
In
sir.
this,
Yes,
you
sir.
have 4 clearing entries, 2 direct entries. Now, there is an error because you have given house bank account ID, but our configuration is not completed. Right? Our configuration is incomplete, so you are getting error. Ignore this. So once your configuration is complete, you have to focus on these two fields, FB01 and FB05. What are these two one? FB01, FB05? These are the transaction codes. What are these?
Transaction.
Transaction codes. All your clearing entries will reflect under FB05. All your direct entries will reflect under FB01. In short, if all the configuration is done correctly, when you put these 6 transactions, FB01 is supposed to show 2 number, which means 2 direct postings. FB05 is supposed to show 4, which means 4 clearing entries. Okay. Now this will generate a batch input session. Any batch input session is seen in SM35. On this, there is no batch input session because nothing got generated. Here 0, here 0. Once the config is correct, you will find a session here like this in the create mode. You have to select the session, click on process. Sorry, SM35. You have to select your session, click on process, display errors only, and then process. Then all the entries will get posted automatically. If there are any errors, you will get a pop-up. Right? This is all about your BRS in a generic overview. Now, in the next sessions, what we are going to do, we are going to define the BRS configuration for our company code. We will create the same transactions. We will upload the same statement with the same figures. And we will see your bank opening balance as 56,000, bank closing balance as 56,790,000. And in one shot, without any errors, your statement should get uploaded. All the entries must be posted. Until you reach that level, you have to practice BRS. And that is one stage. And the other one is all the points that we have written here must be in your mind. If somebody is asking, make sure you are able to explain them without talking about configuration. Okay, in general terminology also, make sure you are able to convince the other person. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right.